Hi everyone, this is Sabula Memani, the Friends of the Liesbeek River Maintenance Project Manager. Before I start, I just want to ask that I be excused because of the quality of the video, and also excuse me if I look a little bit fidgety because I'm looking for some pointers of my PowerPoint presentation. Um, yeah, just to give an outline of today, there are three things that I'll be speaking to mainly, which is the routine maintenance program of the Liesbeek, the waste management, as well as community programs that we were able to participate in. I'll also briefly touch on how the COVID pandemic has affected us. From the start where we last spoke or I last delivered um, this type of report at the AGM between May and March this year, we were able to successfully conduct our maintenance programs without any impacts. And basically, these maintenance programs include the removal of alien invasive species from Boshanevel up to Observatory Road. This also includes us re-establishing or putting back or planting back some indigenous plants along the Liesbeek River in the sections where we had removed alien invasive species. But I think what is key is that I need to highlight that most of our work went or focus areas were mainly around the CBD or central business districts as well as the residential. So this is areas such as Newlands, Bronnerbosch, as well as the lower Rosebank, Mowbray, Observatory sections, where we removed a number of woody species and other alien invasive species such as crofton, spiderworts, as well as several annual species that are growing along the river. We were, in terms of the waste management program, which is basically constitutes part of the routine maintenance program, where we do Thursday litter runs, and this year we're quite impacted because we had to do Thursdays and Friday litter runs just because of the sheer amount of waste that was generated. And just, I think, if I were to estimate, but these are, you are still going to be able to see through the PowerPoint presentation that is attached along with this presentation. We were able to haul out about 9,000 kilograms, estimated 9,000 kilograms of refuse. And this stems out if we say that each taffy litter bag, which is about 25 liters, was carrying about 10 kilograms of wet weight, be it clothes, plastic bottles, glass bottles, cardboards, and paper. Compare that to last year, where I estimated that we had hauled out about 13 kilograms. For this year, I'd say between January and March and June, that shows a significant increase in the number of waste that is generated. And personally, I feel it stems out from the number of illegal shelter or displaced people that had occupied the Liesbeek River, who have had access to materials, be it from residents as well as the central business districts. And yeah, that greatly impacted on how much litter and waste was removed. In terms of the outreach, community outreach component, there are a number of things that we were able to participate in, and this includes a Mandela Day activity that we did last year in July in Athlone with a number of community partners, organized by WWF, where we were able to assist WWF deliver environmental education awareness as well as helping out with the physical cleanup. We also did a cleanup program at the Black River with Adidas, as part of the World Rivers Day in October, where we hauled out about 180 bags of refused waste. On the day, we were fortunate enough to have one of our staff members interviewed by Cape Town TV, and I was also fortunate enough to be interviewed by Cape Town, etc. And that video of mine is also attached as part of that presentation for your perusal. We also helped out with a number of community gardens, and this was in partnership with Community Tree, where we started new gardens along the Liesbeek River in Newlands, behind Hayslukov near Alma Road, as well as another garden just near Gordon's Gym. I was also able to deliver a presentation to CPUT students where I was hoping to attract their interest, and it was greatly received. And after that, or culminating that, I then received a number of requests for students to come volunteer and with us at the Liesbeek. However, that had been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. But I think the greatest project that I could be proud of this year is a project that we started with Sea Harvest. And part of this project is going to be a program where Sea Harvest is going to be selecting a site and putting monies towards the improvement of that site. And this is below the N2 bridge, just in front of or behind the wild fig. But yeah, there's another program that we did with Sea Harvest, which is a wetlands day this year in February, where we did a general cleanup around the Omni wetlands, as well as deliver environmental awareness about the importance of wetlands, and trying to draw in how it impacts sea harvest as a big fishery in South Africa. Part of the maintenance program also includes the general staff development. I was able to take the team to several places where I wanted them to see the work that is done by other organizations, as well as motivate them, saying that this work is not just unique to them, it's unique to Cape Town generally in terms of conservation, and they benefited from this. And so I'd taken the team to Kenilworth and Sunflay, where they were given an overview of what those sites do and how they contribute to the general city of Cape Town biodiversity, and how they manage their water bodies. They were also able to participate in two programs which relate to knowledge keeping, or people that work along the river relating their stories with the work or their experience with working with water bodies in an urban area. And this was with UCT, as well as the University of Cambridge in the UK. I also did a team building exercise relating around conflict management, and this was greatly received by the team, and I think they benefited quite positively. And in terms of the COVID impact component that I wanted to briefly touch on, this year has been very detrimental to our operations, and our operations were greatly affected, and many of the sites that we usually maintain were affected because of the lack of our presence, where we had seen overgrowth of alien invasive species, weeds overgrowing the gardens that we had worked, and also the impact of displaced people in these sites as they seek shelter during rainy days. But overall, COVID-19 basically resulted to a three month and 2 weeks team layoff, and we only came back. Well, this was from March, and we're only able to come back in June. And because of the current or the then restrictions, we weren't able to bring the entire team up to the river, which then meant we had to break it down into two groups: a Kailicha residing team as well as a Nyanga residing team. And obviously that impacted in the amount of work that could be done by the team. However, since then we've now brought back the team, not entirely, but it's still in those groups, but are able to now work full 5 day complement of the day. And yeah, this also affected the transport arrangements because I couldn't allow the team members to travel with public transport. So we are now using the work vehicle, which is impacting or is possibly going to impact in the long term mileage and the wear and tear of. However, we are coping. And yeah, it's been a stop start a period, because we had a one person in the team that was affected, had tested positive with COVID-19, which then meant that we were also laid off for a period of about 14 days, and that also impacted on the outcomes of our work. However, there's also been great or positive stories that have come out of COVID-19, and in this regard, I wish to thank people like um, Peter van Aspachen, who contributes greatly to the to the Liesbeek Facebook pages with his birds posts, which have attracted quite a number of followers. And I think, yeah, between last May and now, we've had an increase of 193 followers on our Facebook group page. And yeah, it seems we're doing quite well in terms of generating interest. And we've been able to share a number of posts via other our sister organization, or groups or Facebook groups. And yeah, what the other thing that I wanted to touch on is a desktop study that I had done just to highlight the importance of the Greater Liesbeek River Green Corridor towards the city of Cape Town, biodiversity at large, and through that desktop study, I was able to establish that there is at least 430 species, um, individual species that were confirmed positively to be found along the Liesbeek river stretch. And before I conclude, I also just want to say we had received uniforms from Sea Harvest through our partnership for the Wetlands Day program, and they had contributed a lot, well, a sizable amount of money. We're also able to receive some monies for projects like the lithium salicaria removal at the ponds just above Observatory Road. And we were also able to receive some contributions from members of the public, and I was quite grateful um, for that contribution. But yeah, I also want to say thank you to people like Jill and John Mustard for constantly telling us or helping us with some of the issues that we find along the river. And to end off, I just want to say thank you to and acknowledge um, our sponsors, and mainly ABEX Investments as well as SAB Newlands Breweries. There are others of importance. Aspire Solutions for providing office space for myself. Stanby. I also want to acknowledge Sea Harvest, Adidas, and the Beach Co-op, WWF, Taffy, Expand, a sign who made a sign for us for free. And I also want to thank the Rondebosch Steps, the schools for the Liesbeek project, and many others. But yeah, with special mentions to Community Tree, Cape Verde Club, and the Kirstenbosch Rotary Club. I thank you.